Yo, what is up, my dudes? Today we have a Mustang, a brand new one. It's very new, very clean. Blue on the outside, red on the inside, black roof. This thing looks, I like it a lot. This thing looks sweet. So we are going to be doing regular tint on it today, though. We're going to be doing Pro Classic. 35 on the windshield, 20 on the front doors, 5 on the rear. It's going to look sick. Very excited for this one. And then we have just a tool. Woo! So that's exciting. Actually, Rick from Sun Distributing, he swung by this morning and took out my garbage and helped me clean all this up. We were setting up some extra banners and a tool wall up there. So we still have a lot of little changes to make, but it looks good for now. And they also dropped off a box that I want to unbox too. What is going on? Brandon, Lionel, Brad, please tell me it's a manual. Unfortunately not, I know. I got in there, I looked, and I was like, it's not a manual. No, automatic. Looks great. It does, doesn't it? Oh man, it looks so much cleaner over there. I didn't know if that space was actually going to look good with those walls, but with the banners up there, with some extra tools hanging up there. So part of the idea with it too is we're going to be adding some things that I wouldn't normally use. So if you guys ever have any questions about comparisons between stuff, I'll work on getting extra things. And then, you know, look, I've got like 4 different types of heat guns right here too. So like just a whole barrage of fun stuff to play around with. And then of course we got the little tool cart over here that you can't even see it anymore. So we're going to be doing full windshield too. So we're going to get started here pretty quick. And already running out of a little bit of time. How about that? Let's get the setup. Yeah, it was funny when he was over here too, because it's like the longer that you look at everything, it's like there's a lot of shit going on here. There's a lot of stuff going on here. So excuse the mess on this side. I try and get to what I can, but to make all this work, there's definitely a lot. All right. Whoa. That needs to be all the way down. Okay, cool. So audio is back on. Canon. Woo! All right. And my switcher works today. Very cool. GoPro. Sweet! Okay, so let me look at this. I mean, come on. My tool belt. It's hanging right here. It's stuck. So, they have Sun Distributing. They brought by this little box for me. So, I have no idea what's in the box. I kind of know what's in the box, but don't exactly know what it looks like yet. So, we're going to open this guy up here. Check it out. I feel like we should do this later on. But you know what? I got some stuff to do. So we're going to check this out. Aww. It's a mini-me. It's the 3-gallon version. I like the 3-gallon version better. Dang. I've had a 3-gallon keg for so long. I have never had one with the rubber on top and my logo on it too. That is super cool. So this is the 5. I've had this one for a while now. But so you would see this and see that, and you might think 5 gallons better. For what I do, you can tint a full day out of a 3-gallon, and it's much easier to carry around. It's much easier to store, clean out, everything. It's just, this is like, in my opinion, the perfect size. So, as much as I like this monster of a 5-gallon here, 3-gallon, dang. This thing's sick. And what's cool too, people ask the differences. They upgrade all the fittings on them. So O-rings, pressure release, valve here, the valve stem, all that, that's all upgraded and it looks sick. So. And then we have Glass-Aid questions. Glass-Aid will hopefully be back in stock soon. Should have, it's getting worked on right now. So hopefully soon enough. Woot! I know. Hopefully the wait is over here. Is Sun Distributing a sponsor? Yes, they are. They are a proud sponsor of the channel now. Tint Depot, Sun Distributing, Tint Wiz, and Geo. They're all help support what I do here. So they Sun Distributing, they're a really interesting company. They're in the area. I worked with them as Tint Squad doing mobile work. So a lot of the mobile stories comes from working for that company. But they weren't a full distribution company at that point. So I watched them kind of get to the point where they are today. And it's not an easy road. But good people in the area. So that's where, like, what's cool is I can run out there and I can get all that kinds of stuff. And then I can also show you guys what that space looks like too. I put a couple pictures in the Facebook group. That was a live stream woot, not a Glass-Aid woot. Could you make a residential tint video? I'm actually not the person to ask for a residential tint. I don't do it. I do strictly automotive. I've only done a little architectural. I was hoping this will just, oh yeah, there we go. So we gotta latch these doors. We also gotta roll up that other window because it was down so I didn't accidentally lock a key in the car. So when you're doing a Mustang, like the Challengers and everything else with shifty windows, you want to latch them up. Little key hidden in the key. So it actually is like the perfect size to just kind of press that, and you can stick that back in there. And then put this somewhere where you're not going to lose it, because you don't need the key for most of the car. You'll need it a little bit, but I also like to lock the doors just in case you pull on this handle, you don't accidentally trip the latch and then it rolls down. So we're going to be doing, like I said, 35 in the front, 20 on the doors, and 5 on all the back. So we got a lot of prep work that we need to get going on right now. I'm getting used to my keg being over there right now. We're going to get some extra long hoses here so we can make that work a little better, because he helped me set it all up. And now it's like we could make a little display wall there for Tint Keg. That'd be super cool. Aw. Thanks. What was that? You're my sensei. You helped me raise my game to a whole new level. You're the best. Aw, that was a really nice message. Thank you. I'm glad the channel's been really helpful. I think 20% on the windshield. I always shy away from 20% on windshields. 35 is really as dark as I like to go on windshields. In my opinion, it's not really about daytime driving. It's the problems with nighttime driving. So when you put 35, anything darker than 35, there's sometimes in certain areas that can be really, really sketchy. So 35, I always found to be a really comfortable shade more often than not. And then there's just a couple of times, if you don't have bright headlights, that it can get a little sketchy. Your videos are really helpful. Please show some of the different mirror removals. Most of them are the T20, T15, T20 screw. And then there are a few unique ones. If it looks like anything too crazy, I'll generally leave it alone. The ones that I've done on stream, though, that are a little bit more common and unique, you can actually look at some of the Ram windshields that I've done. Those have some housings in their twist-off mirrors, so those ones are not too bad. Just be careful with all of them. If it's not something simple, the more you start tugging on the glass, the sketchier that kind of stuff can be. Dang, look at this paint, man. I always love having something other than black in here. I mean, we're playing with a black material. And when you have a black car, it's just everything is just always so dark. This blue, though, this is a really nice looking blue. Picked up Saturday. So fresh off the lot, minus a couple of days. Very excited to have this one here. This will look good. Woo! Black mirrors. Yeah, black mirrors, black roof, black wheels. The right amount of accents on it. It's like on my Blazer. We have a very white and black theme going on. Whip looks familiar. Was waiting for it to start. Welcome. Yeah, we're well, I have it done in plenty of time. Was intending to get it started a little bit sooner, but I had a special visitor today, and we were fixing up a good part of the streaming space, so we got a little carried away with that. The shelving all over on the side, all that stuff, that's all cleaned up now. That looked like hot garbage before, but now it looks really nice. So we got to spray off how much for a Model 3? Just want the side windows? For the side windows on a Model 3, you're looking at $300 for that. With the full back window, that's where that car gets a lot more expensive. I mean, it's already more expensive with that, but adding in that roof, that makes it price jump up quite a bit. So on Model 3s, I would like to carry everything ready for a Model 3 back window, but there's so many options for it. So you need extra wide rolls to accommodate that back window. But all the sides wouldn't be too bad. Mustang fronts are my favorite to tint. Interesting. Why is that? This one seems pretty straightforward. I mean, there's not a lot to it, and not a super long dashboard. Enough of a cutout in the way that's going to get a little annoying, but should go pretty well. 60-inch roll for the Model 3 back window? Yeah. 40s aren't even going to accommodate it. And so you do a 60, and then you go sideways and roll that all the way up. We've done one of them on stream. It was that was a long stream. So they're very unique vehicles, very, very unique. If you do a handful of them, you'll do great. But it's one of those cars that when you do it, like, you know, the first couple times, it'll be a little bit weird for you. But not quite as intimidating as I think I thought they were in the very beginning. And then, you know, this is like the same thing with older cars too. On older cars, they're very unique and they're tricky, but they're really tricky in comparison to newer cars. So it's just one of those things where if you constantly are doing them, you always kind of stay in practice with them. So similar thing with the Model 3. You do a handful of them, and then they're just like, there'll be another car for you. Still a good-sized project with all the glass, but yeah, so that's like the only car that I have to kind of pick out ahead of time. Or the shade, pick out and order ahead of time, really, just for the back. My tint shop installed my front windshield, and they cut the film 2 dots up from the dot matrix. Now the outside looks like there's a line around the dot matrix. You sure they didn't overlap it? So a lot of the times with the dot matrix, pretty much everybody will definitely go over the dots. They'll just leave a silver line all the way around. That's because there's going to be an air gap, because the dots, like you said, they are raised. So it would be really weird if they actually cut it short from the dots. But typically, it'll overlap the dots, and there'll be an air gap all the way around. That'll hopefully look even. But you'll see it. Same thing will happen on this car. That's just kind of how all dot matrix windows are, though, unfortunately. For several Model 3 rear glass went oddly perfect, but didn't know geoceramic is much tackier than Avery's. Once I transferred the film, it tacked. Went downhill from there. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a little on the tacky side for sure. I mean, it took me a while to get my soap mix kind of spot on to where I'm really happy with it. That was the thing last summer that we spent a lot of time on. So both of those are prepped. So we're going to be working on the sides. I forgot I got to do the quarters too. So just real quick on these. Really, you don't have to do both. You could just get away with doing one side and cut patterns on both, but sometimes I'll just do everything. Put that there. If I see a small dot matrix, and I don't want to see it, can you use a small vinyl? Yeah, it'd be really tough to pull off, though. It's such a small space, so you could try cutting it short and then overlapping like a real clean edge or something. It'd be incredibly tricky to do. And it's not going to, so the only issue with the Dotrix, I mentioned it in the video too, but you guys didn't see it very well. When it dries out, that cutoff line, you usually see a little airline there. So it wouldn't completely fix your problem either. It just mainly is meant to mask large portion of dots. That's what it's best for. I mean, you'd probably be better off tinting shy and then filling it in with like a primer, like a black paint or primer or something like that. Then you'd fill in everything. and it'd be cleaner, but it'd still be a little bit of tedious, annoying work. Or like some people like to say, you could sand them. Oh yeah, so we have we brought many, many gifts today. So this is a different tape. We're going to be just using this on the top. We obviously don't need to use this on seals for this car, but just to make sure we have a nice clean edge for that plastic to grab onto, so we don't have water dropping all down the door panels. This one's definitely thicker, but it's got a really nice finish to it. Just something different to play around with. So, I don't know. This one's from Uline. It's a polyethylene tape with white duct tape. Definitely not duct tape. With the serrated edge. So you can, like, oh, I should have showed that better. That was easier than I thought. So you can tear it. Here, let me show you guys. Yeah. So you can tear it that way. Definitely not duct tape. Ceramic on this one. He should. You guys should sell them on ceramic. And it's just sticking all over my hand. Okay. Films. We're doing Pro Classic on this one. But he is doing the full windshield. And if you guys want to upsell him really quick, that'd be great. Ceramic is worth it. One of these days, you guys will be able to sell something for me. I know, but I just roll the windows down and it cools off. So if you leave the windows up, it's for when the sun hits your skin. But he said he's had tint on many different vehicles. He's pretty set on it. It's all good. But I still like using you guys to try and sell it. Alrighty. So we're gonna single cut these, one per side, obviously, just to try and get that edge as nice as we can. He asked how much more it is. Woo! Hang on, let me get my calculator out. We already cut off a piece. No, you're stuck. That's it. The time was over. I should have put like a stop clock. Once the film gets cut, then that's it. No, you don't get ceramic now. That boat sailed. You can't have it. I'll pull up a calculator here real quick. So it's definitely more expensive. $450 on all the sides and the back, additional $200 for the windshield, so $650 in total. The carbon, which is a great in-between, where you get 50% heat reduction, that is, let's see, $320 on all the sides and the back and $160 on the windshield. Sorry, I'll let you guys do the math, but that's what it is. Carbon is always a sweet spot, where you get 50% heat reduction. It's really good. You can mix and match them. So if you want to do ceramic on the windshield, that's definitely still an option. It'd be $200 for the windshield. $480 carbon. Does anybody ever use carbon or whatnot on the sides? Or does that not make sense? No, some people do. Not everybody does. But you can mix and match it a little bit. So if you want to do like a ceramic on the windshield, carbon on the sides, that's totally fine. I wouldn't necessarily do something different from the back. So if you're going to do the front too in like carbon, I'd still kind of stick with carbon on the back as well. Kind of keeping the same film type. But windshield to front doors, that's not unheard of at all. We gotta make a decision here pretty quick. Is solar FX tint good? Yeah. You know what? I appreciated every minute of that. That was great. We're just doing standard. That's fine. You'll still get one hell of a tint job out of here, so it's all good. Just chat's gonna shame you just a little bit, that's all. But it's all in good fun. Is Solar FX good? Yeah, I hear really good things about Solar FX. I have never personally used them, but I know people that use them and are very happy. Whenever you're doing like the full car with the full windshield, that's where prices kind of get hiked up pretty quickly. Doing like the full car without the windshield, from carbon to ceramic to dyed, like jumping up isn't as much of a stretch. Oh, it froze. Oh no! Wait! Don't go anywhere! There we go. We know how to fix it. Every once in a while it just like has a brain fart. How long before you felt comfortable? So, there's still times that I don't feel comfortable, if that makes sense. There's always like windows that'll kind of make you feel like for example, I had an inquiry yesterday about a 66 Mustang, and I'm like, do I even want to take on a 66 Mustang? It was like the 95 Porsche. It's like, but sometimes when you do it, it works out for the best. I didn't feel competent with a lot of things until like I think a year into tinting is when I really started to feel more comfortable. But always work on getting better. And I was still tinting cars in there. It's just like, you know, you always get in these situations where it's like, okay, that car, no problem. And then you get a different car that's on the tougher scale list that'll just kind of make you go, Those are the ones that aren't so fun. So when I get like a Mustang, I'm like, yay, a Mustang. When I get a C6 Corvette, talking to somebody in particular, that's where I'm like, oh no. Ooh, that went really nice. No, we're not going to be filing this one either. We will be whipping out the bands, what's it called? The belt sander here soon enough. I have tried it. I just need to change out a belt on it. and I was looking for the tool to do that today, and I couldn't find it. But it's surprisingly easy to use, and it works really well. It might be a little scary to see, though, because it's kind of a bit of a monster. And it makes a loud noise. And I know tinting's pretty quiet. We love loud noises. When it's a car revving, when it's a fog machine or a balloon exploding, those are all fun noises. When it is a power tool on a customer vehicle, I'm sure it's a little like, but you'll see. We'll make it look fun. It'll be cool. Just got me a GoPro, can't figure out how to get it to go live on Facebook using Android, iPad. Works though, any ideas? Oh, problems with the Android, not with the iPad. Best I could figure was they have problems with particular, like, if it's a more mainstream Android phone, sometimes it would work better. I had super reliable connections always with iOS. Anytime I'm trying to connect one of those cameras, like, so I had I forgot what it was called, little gimbal tracky camera. It would connect flawlessly with an iPhone, but it was really a pain in the ass with Android. So I'd always have to force close the app or restart the phone. And then once you connect it once, it's like you had to restart everything to connect it again. That was like the only reliable thing. I highly suggest getting like a junky iPhone or carrying around the iPad just specifically to tell your GoPro to go live, because it just works better that way. I've had it happen with other devices too, though, not just GoPros. What was it? I think it was by DJI, the little gimbal vloggy camera that does like the tracking. It's like itty bitty with a little camera on it. I forgot what it was called. The Osmo Action or something. I think that's what it was called. I had one of those, and yeah, it was super cool. You could like remote control it and stuff through a phone. But it always worked better on iOS. Plotter or hand cut. Think of a plotter as like an extension that'll always assist, but if you need something reliably cut for sure, you're always going to have to know how to hand cut. So no matter what, you're going to have to hand cut. There's no way around it. So start with hand cutting, and then get a plotter as your budget kind of allows. It's totally cool getting both right in the beginning. And then kind of relying on the plotter more for getting cuts. But yeah, there's always going to be times you're going to need to know how to hand cut, so just do both. I thought because you were Android, it might work. Sorry. No, unfortunately, that's like one of the quirks. Android definitely has its fair share of quirks. So does iOS. Connecting cameras and devices has always seemed to work better off of iOS. But what's really annoying with iOS is like you always have to play within the app. So like I actually have an iPad that I'm editing videos on, and anytime you close the app, it like you can't render in the background or anything. That's one of those stupid limitations. Is there a big difference between going 45-35 on a windshield? Yeah, enough of a difference, honestly. 45 is really close to 50, and 35 is going to look a fair amount darker. So The way I'd best describe it is with 50, you'll still be able, like 45, 50, you'll still be able to see into the windshield and some of the cabin and whatever, but you're going to get nice reflections from just kind of like the sky and the environment. So it's going to look really nice. It's going to look maybe a little darker than you might think it does. 35 on a windshield is like, you can see in a little bit, but for the most part, it's like, it looks pretty damn dark. It's not super dark to drive with, but it does look dark because that's the last point all that light is coming in. Who is that? I think I almost know who that is.
Jose78 Rios super chatted $4.99.
Oh, no.
How you doing?
Wow. Jose with the 5. Thank you. Or was that a couple different comments? Hang on. Sorry, I got to read this really quick. Oh, Jose with the 5. Thank you. How you doing? Somebody else. So big shout out to Jose. I was waiting. Nice job, man. Man, I really, somebody actually noticed. No shit. Come on, it looks like all the rest of them. So that's Helios's ceramic there. That's from Sun Distributing. So it's a little interesting issue I ran into this morning. So they're in the area, and he was planning on coming by today to drop off a banner, which we put up on the wall and hang out for a little bit. So I had a last-minute call. Guy wanted ceramic on his MKZ, and out of all the films, I was out of 5% ceramic, and that's what he wanted.
Daniel
around the
Rayner
whole car.
super chatted $9.99. Master Matt. Pat has a live stream on.
Oh, God. Daniel Reyna with the super chat. Thank you. Pat has a live stream on. I saw that. We happen to be streaming today at the same time. So go toss him some love too. That's the hard part about live is we're going to overlap. That's just the way it is. So yeah, I was in a pinch this morning because he wanted 5% ceramic, and it was like the only ceramic that I hadn't stocked up on because I had enough, and then all of a sudden, like, dude, most people when they get ceramic, they're not getting limo, but lately everybody that's been getting ceramic has been getting limo. So it was just like people chewed through my limo so fast, and I just wasn't expecting it. So they brought out a 50-foot roll of their Helios ceramic, and I used that one on it. Looked nice, shrunk nice, great heat rejection. Yeah, it worked out real well. Thankfully, that would have been really bad if it didn't, because that was a $650 job there. So when those come knocking on your door, you try and get them in. You definitely try and get them in. That's so funny somebody noticed, though. I didn't think any... With this mess over here, it'll get cleaned up soon. I didn't think anybody was going to notice. You guys notice everything. All right, there's that. Yay. Should be good. Probably should check it over before we rip that off. But Daniel, thank you for the 10. I appreciate it. What is his channel? Oh, it's Patrick Latman. So, formerly Window Tinting Business. So if you search Patrick Latman or probably Window Tinting Business, he'll pop up. If you haven't seen his channel already. Oof. Yeah, it looks good. You sure you don't want to go ceramic? We could still do it. What was that? Sun salutations. Solutions. All right, now we got to cut out the other one. So that is the drag about not double cutting. So you have to cut them out individually. But the thing about frameless doors is sometimes, not all the times, like if you double cut them, they'll match up pretty well. But I've ran into some that just don't seem to quite cut it, or are a little bit too far off from one another. So that's why when I have the time, I will take some extra and single cut these just to make sure that those edges are going to be a little bit more precise from one side to the other. Snap. Oh, is it still pushing? Dang. There we go. Just weren't catching it right. Powered rear glass on a Tundra. It's tough to kind of just explain. It's one of those ones that I could talk about it a little bit easier if I had one in front of me, but I just don't really get them very much. I think there's a handful of videos that are out there, though, with like forerunners and stuff like that. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. The inner seal on those, I think, just pulls out, too. It's like one of the easiest back window seals to pull out. I think it's on a Tundra. I would check that. That's the one where the back window rolls straight down, right? Or is that a power slider left and right? Am I confusing those? See, that's how much I do Toyotas. It does come out. I already pulled it. That'll help you a whole bunch. So on the outside, get a nice flat edge. You're going to want those side edges to kind of overlap a little bit. So what I would do is just kind of put a little gash or mark it, shift it over, make a gash or mark it, and then just kind of get those in between. Tack it, roll it down, cut that top edge, and then just connect the dots from there. That's probably how I would handle that. Because all the things, that window is going to go fast down into the seal. So as long as your edges are like really kind of like, you get as much of the top edge as you can, and then just kind of follow that curve, and then end where those little gashes are on the sides, it should be pretty close. But yeah, that's why it's kind of like a tricky thing to explain. Same thing with like truck doors that kind of like pop out of the seal. Some of those are just like playing a game of connect the dots. That's all it is. Because so much of that window, like you can't physically get to with the blade as it's rolling down into the seal, but it rolls down into the seal so fast and like before it even pops out of the channel that you're not going to see the cut even if you're trying to look at the window. And it always helps if they're factory tinted too. Saw a lot more Toyota. We have them. Yeah, we don't get them that often. I saw a lot more of them down south. I actually drove a 4Runner as a rental in Texas when we were on vacation, which I thought was really funny because I had a handful of questions about that back window. But I was on vacation. I wasn't about to do it. Is that cordless heat gun on the wall new? I've had it for a while. I've saw a handful of people ask about it, and I was like, little story. Another shop owner messaged me about that one. They said, "Hey, this is on sale. Looks really interesting." And I was like, "Oh, dang, that's kind of cool." It's a what is it? It's a butane heat gun, so electricity and butane together. So I actually thought it might work. It doesn't. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. It looks cool. That's one reason we put it on the wall. But yeah, it doesn't work. It's kind of like the electric heat guns. They don't work. So electricity heat guns, they take a lot of power. So I was hoping the butane would be more of like one of those torches that are up there. I was hoping it'd be more like that. But it's more like I don't know, little spot butane. It's not very strong at all. So it gets the fan from the electricity and it starts it, and then it runs the rest off of gas. But it's just like a slightly stronger, lighter. We get lots of Toyotas in Texas, probably because the Tundra plant is in San Antonio. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, so we have, I've got a Chrysler plant right around here. And, like, Detroit, big three, like, that's why I just don't see them near as much. We get a variety, but there's just way more, like, Rams coming in for front doors. But yeah, it's a super cool idea. But what was funny to me about it too was that it was on sale for like $40 or something like that, like something really cheap. And I was like, oh, cool. Look at this beefy thing. I can get it for like $40. Oh, this is so funny. He said this was going to be annoying to pull off the wall, and sure enough, it is. So you turn it on. If it still even has power. Does this have power? Battery might be dead. That's the other thing. Oh, wait, no. There you go. It's on now. So it gives that little click, and then it starts up and starts blowing butane. Little circle here, so it's really, really weak. and the airflow is not very, very strong. But I needed to buy a spare battery for it, and then you also need to buy the battery charger for it. So didn't come with any of that. What a waste. What a waste. I think the bigger battery would make it work better. The only thing the battery does is work the fan, so it might blow a little stronger if the amperage is up, but probably nothing too notable. Whoa!
Daniel Rayner super chatted $4.99. Master, I'm going to plotter after 45 years of hand cutting. Getting a 40 Jaguar plotter. Hurrah.
Hurrah! Jaguar plotter. Very cool. What software are you going with? That's my question. Thank you so much for the 5. I'm wondering what software you're going with. And give us your feedback, actually. I really want to hear your feedback on it. If you haven't used a plotter for any extended period of time, you'll have a lot of fun. They are, when you get the hang of them, they are helpful. There's some things. They're more for production. That's what they are. Oh, I can't see shit now. Do you have a video on the kegs? Do I have a video? I have like an older video about tank upgrades, but no, I don't have anything super current that is specifically about the kegs. Oh no. Don't put this on paper. I don't like it so much. You have a video on the kegs, but what PSI and what is your slip ratio? So slip ratio, I use Dawn and baby shampoo, Johnson & Johnson baby shampoo. I use those together. There are a bunch of films where you don't have to do that. Geo is this kind of funny film, and there's like a handful of other ones that are very similar that have a pretty aggressive adhesive. So it's killer for longevity and staying on the window, and it works really well. Getting it in place sometimes can be a bit of a challenge sometimes. So I use about a quarter of Dawn and 3/4 baby shampoo. That ratio will vary just a little bit based on just blast some in and then blast even more baby shampoo in, and then you're good to go. So how much in a 3-gallon keg? It's just enough. It works. Looks like it's been pretty reliable now.
Jorge Sandoval super chatted $5. Testing.
Jorge, thank you. Thank you for the super. It works now. Pretty reliably, I'd say. I think there was only one yesterday that it didn't fire on, but they let me know what the issue was, thankfully. It wasn't on my end, it was on theirs. So.
The Real Young Og super chatted $10. Yo dude, with the steam you've become the Ric Flair of window tinting.
The Ric Flair. It's a wrestler, right? The Real Young OG with the 10. The Ric Flair of window tinting. That's back to the WWF days, right? I don't know leagues, but I remember WCW versus NWO and the N64 game and all that. We had action figures. It's gotta be, right? I'm not crazy. Maybe a little crazy. Get this real close. What did you use before the soak rope? Nothing. A towel on the dash sometimes. Yeah, we were all kind of Neanderthals. Yeah, so yeah, before the soak shield, people just spray all over windshields. They'd put like a dash towel, and that was basically just like a microfiber towel or just a regular towel. Like, there wasn't much that people would do. That's what's kind of important about, you can find some budget solutions if you're creative and locally and you just like make the time to go do it. And you should do that. But speaking from experience, there's a lot of tinters that don't really like go out of their way very much to just make a better job or find a better solution. They just kind of like look at the tint store, and then if it's not there or they haven't messed with it, then they don't bother. So it's just like, it's not a problem then till it's a real big problem. So that's what was good about Soak Shield, was they came out and they aimed to solve a problem, and then they caught fire, and then everybody started using them like, oh shit, yeah, I am ruining cars, or I have had that happen. It is a little slippery. I'm impressed. I'm more happy about it than not. I'd much rather have it trail away and then being able to fix it than having it the other way around. So back to the soap question. When do you have too much slip or too much slip solution? Like, what is the right ratio? It kind of just varies from car to car, and you don't really know until you have some film on the window. But being able to slide the film around for me is much better than having it just tack up. So that's kind of what you're looking for. So it will tack up. It's only a matter of time. So you can always have too much, and that's way better than not enough. Patrick said, what's up? Watching both of you guys. Hey, what's up, buddy? Yeah, usually we'll stream a little bit earlier, but today we're a little bit on the late side today. Should have started at 1. Making sure that we're staying cool. Had like just a little bit of water right there in the middle. 20% on the sides? Yes, sir. 20 on the sides, 5 on the back, and then we're gonna do the whole windshield in 35. Frameless always tack more on me. It depends on the frameless. Some of them I have the same issue on some of them. I couldn't even tell you which ones do and which ones don't. But sometimes I'll go to like, especially on like some older Mustangs, I remember going to slide the film in place and it just froze. It would be a total pain. Keeping the glass a little cooler will help too, but yeah, it was, yeah, ran into plenty of that. What's up with the Lowe's tape? What you judging my tape? No, it's we're messing around with a few different ones for side seals and whatnot. So the tuck tape is a great option and still is a great option. You can find it on Amazon and you can't buy it locally. So people were telling me then to try Tyvek, which is by DuPont, and they're all sheathing tapes. So I went to go get some, and they were just out of stock. So then I did some searching, and Lowe's makes their own version of it with their name all over it. So just another option. The exact, similar type of stuff. I don't want to say exactly the same, but seems like same type of adhesive, similar properties, and just the way it works and everything. So it's a good option for sure. And then Sun Distributing walked in with a different one that I don't know. Seems to be working pretty well. It's just a little bit thicker, but it's got some different characteristics. So see, that's why we start trying stuff now, because I almost want to do like a global comparison, because everybody's like, oh, this is just global reboxed for like, you know, any number of Guari films. I would love to just have a lineup of them and just like, because there's so many things, like even something that I wasn't or I was surprised on was this heat gun right here. I guess this Craftsman version of the Porter cable is not quite the same as the Porter cable, or so I hear. So now I feel like I need to go get the Porter cable version and mess around with that one. Do a comparison and see if they're really the same. But the Wagner's clearly better, so. I'm still not happy with the Clear Crush. It's soft. It is soft. It wasn't really designed for pushing out much water with it being so soft. If you like the slidiness, though, get this guy. This is what I'm using on my handle right now. This is the hybrid. It's got two sides, a blue and an orange. So it's supposed to be like kind of like a Blue Max, which it's not, and like an Orange Crush. But they both kind of feel the same. But this is probably the best slidey material that I've used, and it's firmer, so it pushes out a good amount of water. They're more expensive, but they're really, really good blades. I used tuck tape for the first time, and that stuff is stupid sticky. Yes, and it needs to be. Sticking to unique door panels and stuff is what that's like. If that stuff has a problem sticking to certain door panels, then you know it's like you can't really fix it with an adhesive, right? But carpet shield still won't stick to a lot of door panels. So it's taken very unique things to try and actually get something to work with sticky to door panels. That's what we're trying to fix with it. The Dragon Ball Z Squeegee. I saw that post. I didn't understand the Dragon Ball. I thought they were fighting at first, but it's when they fuse together. That's exactly what it is. Okay, so what time is it? 3:40. Yeah, we got some time. All right, so we're going to talk about shrinking a back window again, because if you guys haven't heard about how to shrink a back window, I'd be surprised because you keep asking me. So we're just going to go over some basic techniques for shrinking this back window today, because I see the way that it's curved, and it's a little bit more than a lot of the windows I've been doing recently. So when you get these big old fingers, that's when you know you have a little bit more that you have to shrink. So you want some type of medium underneath this film. So whether that be something called dry shrink prep, a dryer sheet, a soap bar, use whatever your method of choice is and go with that. So what we're going to be doing is forming what is called an H pattern. So for me, what an H pattern is really a hard line in the middle where you split the window, usually 50-50. You're just trying to create a nice amount of material up here, a nice amount of material down there. And then I'll kind of just in the beginning hard fix it to the glass on the side, but I just took away 2 to 3 inches worth of space to kind of shrink that out. And I want to get that space back because the goal here is just to get this all to lay evenly. And we do that with a heat gun. We turn that heat gun all the way up. We point that heat gun with the cord over our shoulder at an angle. And so all the heat is going this way. Now, you see all these scary looking big old fingers. You can kind of organize them a little bit. Start at the highest point, and you're aiming for just past where it kind of touches the glass there. All you're doing is you're waiting for it to do that. Look, it went sideways. Neat. And look, it still shrinks a little bit after because guess what? It's hot. So as soon as it starts to do this nice little soft ripple here, you can take your hard card or your felt card, and then you can press it down. And look, it's smooth. Yay. So now we're going to shrink a little bit past that. Just a little bit at a time. And then you can go straight across and just work it all down together. You're going to have to put a little bit more heat here than here because there's more material that needs to be shrunk in this area right here. So as soon as you start seeing these little guys go sideways, keep them even and just chill out, and then you can press them all down. And we'll just kind of take it a little bit at a time. Some of it's starting to curve up a little bit. Ooh, scary. Press it down. Look, it's all good. So when you're splitting it in half, you're going to start shrinking film here, and it's going to start curving like this. What it's trying to do is get the whole thing to go down with it, but you shrunk this part here. So you're going to start seeing some lines. Don't over shrink these diagonal lines. Just shy away from it a little bit. We'll catch up to that in a minute here. Put a little bit of heat. Watch that go sideways. The closer you get to the bottom, the trickier this is going to be. It's real easy in the very beginning. It gets harder when you have to put more material in. So as you press this down, sometimes you go a little farther, and these are all the areas that need to be shrunk. So you can kind of pick that back up, make it all off the glass, and just coast it all down. And then that's all you're doing. Just putting some heat, knocking it down. So what I did there at the very end is there's always going to be the sweet spot where you're putting enough heat and then you knock that down before it melts. So you just give it that extra little blast and it'll knock down. I'm not pressing down super hard with this card. This is really just an organization tool. I'm not doing any shrinking with this. This is just, we're organizing thing. We're smoothing it down. You could use a hard card. You could use a number of different things to do the same job as this. I like felt cards because when you're putting them over the glass, if you happen to have a little rock or something here, you'd rip right through the film. This will skip right over it. So we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to move a little faster. See, I got all that to go sideways. Cart it down. So it's pretty flat in this area, much more curved here. So these top corners give people the most trouble. One way you can alleviate that is we did that whole H pattern thing, right? Well, like I said, I took out a few inches here. I can't shrink here because it's fused to the glass. Well, I can pick that up, and then now I got a little bit more area to shrink out. Do that, heat it, get it to go sideways, and then press down the whole thing together. And then now you're smoothing this wide area rather than pinching yourself into a corner up here. And then knock it down. So you can really, you're shrinking vertically, but you're kind of like knocking things, kind of just smoothing it down. And then get the other stuff to catch up. Like I said, the middle is not bad on these. We're just doing what we did everywhere else to catch this stuff up. So it's kind of even. You don't have to keep it even, but when you're new, it helps with organization. How often do you replace your felt card? I haven't replaced this thing in about 3 years. This thing's great. I think they get better with time. If you're burning your felt card, you got the heat on your felt card. You don't need to do that. The heat goes on the tint. Watch, we'll do this all nice and smooth here. Look at that. It's all just going sideways. And the farther down we get, the slower it's gonna get, and the more heat we gotta apply. I didn't do a diggity dang thing with the felt card. And now, I mostly use the felt card as much as I do because that's the way I started shrinking from the very beginning. I relied on it a lot. Lock down that bottom edge. But yeah, that's all shrunk. Same thing with the top. So that's kind of to get across the point that this is for organization. That's what it's for. Everything else, the heat gun does the work. That's just, we're smoothing it out. We're shrinking it where we need to. There's like, it's hard to see, and it'll get better with time. I didn't see this until much later in my tinting career. So there was, I watched a lot of people shrink back glasses, and then I would see them do a little pull shrink, so they pull on the edge and do that. When you catch that right heat wave and you see that curve in the glass, you can just get it all to lay down evenly, and before you know it, like, you just look at it long enough and you'll start to be able to see it. I don't know how else to explain it, but you create almost like a heat pocket there, and it all just lays down the film. What if I don't have a felt card or a heat gun? What if you don't have a car? How are you gonna shrink it then? Get the things. Then you get the things. Like, there's people that want to tint their car, shrink their back window, and they'll obviously ask about a hairdryer. Does a hairdryer work? Hairdryers don't get hot enough. You can go try, but it's just not going to work out very well for you, maybe. I don't know. Maybe you'll be a tint wizard and you'll figure it out. How's the Fusion one? I don't like it. I want to like it. I don't like it. I'll have to bring Rick on and we can talk about it.
Jose78 Rios super chatted $4.99. Here one more time, have nice day everyone, break over need to work.
Jose with the 5. Thank you. Break over need to work. You know, I just noticed that the fog machines didn't go off. I'm sorry. So apparently they mostly go off. But not always. So buddy, thank you. There's one. Oh, that was weak. Yay! Thank you. I appreciate it very much. You have a good day too. Stay busy. What if you set the heat gun on, or what if you set the hairdryer on fire? Would that work? That would be better. That would work better, because now you have a much hotter heat source, and you got the hairdryer blowing. Or you can get one of those suckers up there. You could just get a torch. But then you actually have to go do it. I saw a video posted in my group. Oh, it was amazing. It was on a small hatchback. They took a, what was it? A newspaper, and they lit it on fire. Oh, was it? No, did they spray a back window? I think there's two of them. One, they lit a newspaper on fire and just kept like, card. And that worked. And then there was another one where I think he sprayed like alcohol and lit it on fire, and it was shrinking the tint that way. You just need a really good heat source. You could be, like I said, maybe you'll just be a tint wizard. You'll figure it out. We're still figuring out all the ways there are to shrink. Nothing's out of question there. This is the way I do it. You can do it this way if you want. You need to test it on fire. It would be fun to play around with some of those things on a car that I could maybe burn. It's not a bad idea. Maybe a little dangerous. It was on, the ones I saw was on a hatchback, so that's more of a vertical window. That would help out a whole bunch. I like these seats. These are nice. Okay, so slight issue with the defroster lines on these cars. I've made many videos, and I'm pretty sure I've done it on Mustangs too. As a reminder, Chargers, Challengers, 300s, and Mustangs, and some select other cars, but mostly just those, have a defroster thickness issue. They're not terrible, and sometimes they won't be very bad, and then sometimes they'll be your worst nightmare. So, what I do before I go to install this, you will see me turn on the car, turn on the defrosters, and then install the tint. That is just so they get hot. That's all we're doing. I bring that up. Just because the more people we can tell about that, the more easier time everybody will have trying to install these back windows. Chargers, Challengers, Mustangs, and 300s. So, we're going to start this now. We're going to turn on the defrosters now because it's good practice to just turn those on and then clean it. And then after you're done cleaning it, it will be hot. So it takes about 30 seconds for them to get hot. So you're spraying water and that's cooling it down. So just like, you know, turning them on now, going to clean it. This is like, it'll work out well for you. Ah. V6. There was another stream with somebody's Mustang. They're making jokes about it being a V6. Oh, good Lord. I just realized that this Mustangs like this, they don't give you a ton of room to work with this way. So my headset is going to be a little bit obnoxious for me now. So if we're a little tilty, that's why. How much? You got a deal. This one's 370. He went with the Pro Classic though, so we publicly shame him. I'm just kidding. We don't shame him. Don't shame him. Shame. It's all good. I'm super glad to have another car here. Like, what I want to do is I want to keep running live streams and putting out good tint jobs doing it. So having like a full afternoon to have this car just so I can do this is great. I worked hard to set all this up. How much does it cost if you come to my location? I won't come to your location. You have to come here. I can't stream there. That's a problem. Yeah, I used to do mobile. I'm over it. I got a garage. You'll fit. I did a semi the other day too. 2 doors. I don't want to do another one, but I could share my Wi-Fi. There's just a little bit more there than Wi-Fi. All right, that's squeegeed. Yay. Looks like we'll be okay. I just have to tilt my head a lot. Let's go get some film. We'll do the good old Mustang tint limbo. We'll get that thing all tinted up. Bit far from Ireland. Well, shit, how do you think I feel traveling all the way over there, too? Probably be cheaper to just buy a car here and have me tint it, and then sell it. I don't know. All right. It's a tight squeeze. But yeah, reverse rolling these would be easier for a few reasons there. But the problem I got with reverse rolling is then trying to unroll it across that back window. I'm not super great with that method for back windows. This is how I've been doing them forever, so we just keep doing them this way. But on windshields, we're gonna reverse roll. It's a different story with windshields. Now that glass is a fair amount toasty now, so we're just kind of push this in place, not let it sit for too long. Get it where you need it to go. And then I haven't tried tinting one without turning the defrosters on, so it's possible it's not an issue much anymore, but I always assume that it is, because better safe than oops. Oh, that's covered. Oh, that didn't look like it was covered at all. The exhaust doesn't bother you? What exhaust? It's a V6, right? If you've worked around cars, this is just the reality of working around cars. You just kick them on, you leave them on. Sure, OSHA will tell you to vent it outside somewhere. Exactly. It's just part of the job. That's how we can tell you don't work around cars. I always get a couple dust specks on the rear. That's not unusual. Definitely not at all. It's just part of the thing. You like try and make it as flawless as you can, but like a couple speckles, you'd be fine. Just depends on how big they are, I guess. Like, because if they're significantly big, then yeah, that's an issue. But it's an imperfect thing that we try and always make as perfect as we can. This is getting warm. Maybe it's that exhaust. No, I'm kidding. What am I looking for here? So this paneling is just a little tight here. So I need to tuck this film underneath. There we go. Edges of paneling drive me crazy sometimes. They just kind of like tilt in right at the bottom and they'll press against the glass. You just gotta push them out. You just gotta tuck that film underneath sometimes. It'll be a little bit wide. Just get it out. I can smell it from here. Ugh. Well, you could open up the door. You got cars driving by all day. Oh, my legs. Oh, it gives me so much space. Ow. All right, now I can shut it off. Where's the button? I can't see the button. Where did they put it? They put it down there. So that's really all you need to leave it on for. You could leave it going for a little while longer. It's totally up to you. But leaving it on while you're getting it installed, very, very helpful. Okay. Now, do I have anything there? No, I don't. Where do we have it? There it is. Ever reverse roll the rear? A couple times. I can better explain reverse rolling while I'm doing it, why it's kind of tough for me to do it on the back. It's mostly at the end. So getting most of the film in place is pretty straightforward. Getting the film past the, like, when you're coming into that paneling on the far side, it all can start bunching up on you. So that's where, like, you have to pull your liner out of the way before it gets that far. And it all is enclosed there. It's harder to do that on a back window for me than somewhere else.
Jose78 Rios super chatted $4.99. Have Mustang changed tint to Geo? Told my son to do the rear window, now have all windows Geo rear window Lex, and my son make this to make me angry.
What? Jose with a 5, thank you. Change tint to Geo, told my son to do the rear, now we have all windows rear Geo. What? Now have all windows Geo rear window. My son make me angry. So you changed the windows on your Mustang and now they're all Geo, or they're not Geo? Sounds like they're all Geo now and you're angry. Explain. Cool. Little booble right there that we can take care of. That is just kind of smack dab in the middle. Where are ya? There you are. Okay. I don't know how to, I don't really explain that. So if you see a little imperfection on the outside or a bubble or something, I always like, you can either mark it, you could take a little grease pencil or just something and mark it on the outside. And then I'll just kind of like, there it is, there it is. Try and line it up as much as I can, because it'll be much harder to see it on the inside than the outside. It's right there now, so we didn't actually take it out, we moved it. I just thought I had a different card or something here. And then getting a light spot to kind of bounce off of it is helpful. So it's there. Press it into a defroster. Like, air bubbles are kind of cool with defroster lines. You can usually press them into a defroster line and channel them out. Or you can run them completely along the glass. But after you've had defroster lines on for any period of time, it starts to make all these little channels and stuff grab. So you have to be a little creative out of it. I'm driving and typing. Oh, okay. That wall looks amazing. You would think so. Thank you. You might have had some help with it. Yeah, it looks sweet. I'm very happy with the way that turned out. Now I gotta clean all the trash in the back. Let me get, what do we need? What do we need? This one's coming up a little bit. It's wet there, so we don't, oh my goodness. We wipe this off with a towel. That's why I also use a squeegee. If you just use like a towel and like some soapy water and clean your windows that way, Glass Aid isn't gonna like you a super amazing amount. Really cleaning it and then squeegeeing it dry so there's no like grease left behind, that's the better way to do it. So with straight edges you're fine. With curves, that's where it can be a little tougher. So we sprayed glass cleaner here, so hopefully that'll help fix that. Plus we can always cut it on the other side too. Where is my Labor Day? 4 o'clock. No problem. We're making good time. So it'll be here about 5-ish. We need a roll of 5. That would be you. We have some things there we'll have to take care of. And then, there. Go give everybody a look behind your wall. No. Should we? That was really funny. I just assume people see the mess in the background. Well, like, because you can see all that stuff over there, but I guess if you're not really looking at it, or looking for it, or half paying attention, or whatever, I don't know. There's been that mess there for a little bit. We're going to be doing some cleaning here pretty soon. But, tell you, when you stream, and then you have extra appointments and stuff, your whole day just disappears. What? Are we collecting trash? No, but there is a fair amount of clutter over there. So if I can throw it all out, it's not that big of a deal. It's when it's kind of clutter and I need to organize it all, and it becomes overwhelming in a weird way, where it's like I almost don't know where to start, but we just have other things to do too, so I never put all that much thought into it because of everything else that I'm trying to fucking do. What type? What type of tape is that? Oh, that's Glass Aid. Glass Aid. It'll hopefully be back in stock soon. You need a helper? At this point, I think we're getting there. I'm caught in somewhat of a weird place. So I think I'd be looking for somebody to, it's not yet, so don't get your hopes up too much. Somebody to learn and also help maintain and just pick up where everything gets left off. Because it's not enough for somebody to just come in here and pick up after me. There needs to be more for them to do to like fill up their time. And then I stream, so it's like you're not gonna be on the stream. Not really. So then it's like, it's the extra stuff that's happening in the background. So I'm in a weird spot with it, I'd say. We're getting close to where I will probably try and find somebody. So it's been a lot, but I freed up 2 more days of the week, so things are starting to all get handled too. So it's manageable. It's just a lot. So with I think with the store too, with Glass Aid coming back, that's what'll probably push it back over the edge. Plan ahead, right? I gotta find a spot for this thing, so I want to use this. Where do we put this? We'll just hang it here. We gotta use that for the windshield, so we'll leave it there for right now. Look, it makes the wall look so nice. So nice. What state? I'm in Michigan, the Detroit area. We used to have a Detroit Tint Studio banner there. We'll have to put that back. Oh God, these hoses go that way. All right, let's do these quarters. It's 411. Then we got to do a windshield. Hello, car. Are you ready? You know, this little pink turbo, it's pretty good. Do you think the tint industry will implement more photochromic options? That's a good question. Eventually. I think like dyed or like carbon and ceramic, it's gonna take time. But I think it's cool enough that when it's stable enough on particular things, it would be great. I think it'd be really appealing to have on a sunroof. Middle of the day, ceramic. You want to leave your shade open, so you get just that right amount of glare cut out. And then at nighttime, it lightens up. So late evening, it would be real light and look super cool. So that would be fun. Front doors, like, and the rest of the vehicle, I don't know. There's some funny things. I'll make a follow-up to it. But there were some funny things driving around with it on the front doors. So, like, it changes pretty rapidly. So shadows are very obnoxious. And so when you're driving, the sun is kind of beaming in at an angle, and then depending on the direction you're going, so let's say sun is facing this way. Well, you got shadows from the mirror, and you actually got shadows from your side pillars casting about here. So on certain parts of your windows, it almost looks like there's a gap. More often than not, it looks like there's a gap there. So it's not till the film is like, the sun is like directly aiming at you and there's no obstructions that it completely looks even. And it changes so rapidly though, that I don't know. I have to keep driving with it for a while, so I stop looking at it. Been looking at it a lot. Oh, shit. God, I'm so tired of walking back and forth. When is Glass Aid? When will Glass Aid be back in stock? Soon. Soon, soon, soon. I think tomorrow is, a lot of progress is going to happen tomorrow on it. And then, so hopefully I will have it back in stock. I don't know. I'm guessing in like another week. Hopefully it's not going to be much longer than that. I'm sorry. Need an assistant just to hand you the tools. Fair enough. So, yeah, fun times. Hopefully it'll get solved soon. But I'm gonna have a whole bunch of it. I think in the neighborhood of like 10,000 rolls. So, quite a lot. And then, here's the fun part. If you're getting into products, here's a fun thing. You learn this. You have to try and think 3 to 4 months ahead, and then you'll still probably won't be completely right. And when something's new, ramping up quickly is very, very difficult sometimes. So it's like 10,000 rolls is a lot, but at the rate that it's going, it also isn't a crazy amount either. So it's just kind of like going crazy, and then wintertime will hit and it'll slow down a fair amount. So it's like it'll go crazy, and then it'll slow down, and then it'll go crazy again. So trying to guess what the fuck this is going to be doing in a handful of months is nuts. So you have to kind of like just plan everything 3 to 4 months or longer in advance and cross your fingers. And then you keep planning ahead from there. But you don't know until like, I mean, shit. It's like ordering your tint on a Thursday in time for Saturday. You just gotta do it so much farther in advance though. You're like, how much tint am I gonna use this week? Okay, now how much tint do you think you're gonna use in the next 4 months? And then your business is doubling and tripling and whatever. It's crazy. I'm about to tint my own new car. It's a Type R, going to try and shrink the back window without removing the stupid wing. Woo! Okay, if you're just trying to tint and that's your first back window, I put it in perspective, I bought one and I do it regularly, so you're gonna want to take it apart. You're gonna need to splice that over that wing area then. That'll work out easier for you. All right. Coffee sip. We got a windshield to do. Thank God I bought a bunch of Glass Aid before it went out of stock. You are very lucky. It happened once. It definitely wasn't supposed to happen again. So hopefully it won't be the case in the future. Also, it's done things that I didn't really think that it would necessarily. I thought like some people would like it. But whenever you're, so if you pay attention to things other people try and introduce into tinting, it's like people are used to what they're used to. And then when they see something new introduced, they're like, I don't need it. I've been tinting for 30 years and I've never needed that. Why the fuck would I need it now? I don't know, small quality of life improvement. So it's not for everybody. But it was really cool to see it kind of actually get a nice reception once people understood what it was really for. I'm just trying to save some back windows, man. I did it for myself. I did it because I make videos. If I'm going to be making videos, I really didn't want people to go, hey, you cut on glass. Is there ever a time that you scratch a window? No! That's never happened in my entire tinting career ever. That's never happened. That's crazy. And then people come out and like, for training or something, and then they're like, what is that? Is that a scratch? No, that's not a scratch. Kidding? That's not a scratch. Shut up. If you tell anybody, I'll kill you. Go for it. Okay, windshield time. 35. Where is that? It's over here. Do you tint however the customer wants it? Yes. Main reason is because that's the way the customer wants it. They're the one that's paying for the job. So there are some different regulations depending on the states that you're in. Michigan is if you have a doctor's note, then you're free and clear to pretty much, I don't know, kind of do whatever you want. They don't really specify. So everybody just has a doctor's note, right? Right. There's nothing that says that you have to check for it. So it's really like all the parts that they sell at AutoZone and stuff like that, that's not legal for, you know, like an underbody kit, right? Well, that's not legal for anybody to drive around with around here. However, they still sell underbody kits all over the place for cars. And they put a little disclaimer that says this may not be legal in your state. So, kind of like that. I've only scratched 2 pieces of glass on 100 plus cars. So that's like a 98% success rate. No more with Glass Aid, which is awesome. Thank you. Just to kind of expand on that one, though, because that's, yeah, that sounds like a lot. But then when you put it into, like, each one of those cost you a couple $100. Yikes. That's what really sucks. It damages reputation, kind of. Like, if you scratch a car, customer is definitely not happy. You take care of it, they're more happy. Some people are just peeved that they had to then have their glass changed, right? Because it's not factory at that point. It might be factory glass, but it's not as factory fresh as what it was. But sometimes they'll have a better opinion about you too. So as long as you take care of them, that's good. But you definitely don't ever want it to happen. So I started to see, I remember I did a BMW at the glass shop. It was an older one. Like mid 2000s, or no, sorry, 2010. And I don't know. I just like whipping through a day. I snap off blades regularly, and then occasionally you're just like coasting through a day, and then all of a sudden you see a big line around the whole windshield or a back glass, and you're like, oh shit. And then that really, the 200, that's just on a back window. When you're talking about windshields, that could be way more expensive on a windshield, especially when you're talking about getting a recalibration too. Good God, that's a nightmare. Honda Accord, recal, replacement windshield, out of pocket, $800. On an Accord. Something that probably would have cost you $250 or less years ago. Now is $800 with a recal. What would you say is the main reason to have tints? Most people, for privacy still. More people are coming around to heat rejection. It's less common in Michigan to like for that to be your main priority. It's usually like a bonus. It's like, oh sweet, I get my car tinted and I get heat rejection. So, but we still have people here and there come in for like 70 on like the front doors and the full windshield. So it's still a thing, but yeah, definitely privacy more often than not. Most people you'll be installing like 20 or 15 for. Depends a little bit on your state law, but that's what a lot of people ask for. 20 and 5, they go the fastest. Unless you have a vehicle sitting outside with 35, and then you make 35% suggestions, you'll sell a lot more 35. I try to not make suggestions as much. I try to listen as much and figure out what they're looking for, or unless they kind of already know. I'm always worried I'm going to kind of like impact their decision in a negative way. Like they're like, I was thinking about doing 20, but like what are they really thinking about? Are you thinking about like a little bit more privacy, or you think 20 actually sounds a little lighter? So I try and listen as much as I can to figure that out. But yeah, more often than not, people definitely are 20. 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. And if it's not all 20. What? You sound like Kermit when you're mocking people? Oh boy. Hi-ho. I feel like I have a voice, definitely not the same, but same level of irritation maybe as love them, but Linus Tech Tips. That was like one of the funniest things. It was always playing one of those videos with like with my wife in the room or something, and it was like that voice took a little bit to get used to. Have you ever cracked a windshield? Not from a heat gun, but yeah, I broke 2 windshields from pulling mirrors. They were Ford mirrors, but they were the annoying clip style ones. So a lot of people would just take their hand and like peel it off the windshield. How do you not scratch the windshield with that sharp blade? Swear this isn't a glass aid plug. So if that's a genuine question from somebody that's not usually in the chat, that is also why this is a thing. Like, it's not just for you. It's also for your customers. So I put down my own product. It's called Glass Aid, in between the film and the glass. Looks like pinstriping. It's thicker than pinstriping. So the purpose of this is to protect your windows from being scratched from a sharp blade. So this is sitting in between there. So I cut on this rather than your glass. We use sharp blades. We use 60-degree stainless steel blades, and we snap them regularly. So if we do cut on your glass, it should be safe. But to ensure that it is safe, that's what I do. There's two major things that I would get asked about that are always, like, from a customer's perspective, that always made me feel kind of uneasy. And that first was cutting on the glass. If your car gets pulled into a shop and then it comes out of the shop and everything looks good and you didn't see anything about the process, then you're really not thinking about it. If somebody saw you cutting on their glass, then it's just like, whoa, wait, what? What are they doing? And you're like, don't worry, it's fine. It's safe on glass. It's a tough thing to kind of explain, especially when you got a nice brand new car. I don't know how much this windshield would be to replace. I don't want to find out. Especially since it just rolled off the lot. It's all nice and new, right? The other thing that is hard to explain is water running down the door panels. We all use lots of water or various amounts of water. Anyways, we all have to spray water on the windows to get them tinted. And you don't want anything, like, the less things that you have in question for you damaging something, the better. So that is those two things. That's why we put plastic on all the doors. We put plastic on the doors, and then we solved the cutting issue too. So that's it. That's why those things are the way that they are. I'm not sure about this for this windshield. This, to me, is like a little bit more. I think I got just enough space there. The tighter the windshield, the harder this is going to be. What, we're neck and neck? Oh, he's streaming doing a full car with a windshield too. Nice. What timing. He'll probably finish before me. What time is it? 4:30. Doing good. Goes on the outside. Yes. Yes, today it does. We gotta speed up. All right, let's get this in place. We got a little bit of a gap here. That's nice. A little bit more room. As long as I have enough space to kind of get all the film in place, I'm doing pretty well with it. There's just a few times that rope is definitely not going to be quite an option. I think on a couple I've pulled it too. I want to put these seats back a little bit, but still need them. Need enough to get up here. This is an interesting little cutout too. Most of this is fine because it's all kind of like up here, stays out of my way. This cutout is decent. I should have checked the gap here though. I think this is going to be a little bit obnoxious. So a lot of times the dot matrix border will sit just on the outside of something like this. This sits just on the inside. The issue with that is then you have to try and tuck the film into a plastic housing like that. It would be easier to just have this removed, but there is cameras and stuff up there, so I don't want to screw with it too much. All the new systems that they're putting into cars now, they affect a lot of things. So if you move them or take it off or something, specifically the camera, whatever sensors that they have there, you could take the mirror off and you're fine. there are some little rules about turning the vehicle back on with the camera unplugged. But the systems are evolving pretty rapidly, so it's kind of sketchy unless you know exactly what you're doing on this car. So if you're a recal tech, then you probably know what you can do. If you aren't, then a little bit more sketchy there. Yeah. Come on. There we go. Yeah. Somebody said these are their favorites. This isn't, I'm gonna be honest, this windshield's not my favorite. I don't have much of a problem with it, but I wouldn't call this one my favorite. All right, this area we're gonna wipe off a little bit. Damn, that's pretty harsh there. That bottom would make me hang myself. It's a little extreme. If I hear you. Yeah, the tighter the bottom area is, the less fun this is gonna be to unroll. This definitely makes you want to fall back in your seat too, so gotta kind of hold myself up here too for this. I'll hook my foot underneath like the brake pedal. All right. Last little spray, we'll get our squeegee. If I open up a tint shop, I'll just do the side windows. You know, I was never super proficient at doing windshields, and I didn't have to do them for quite a while when I first started. Windshields were not a popular thing here. And then they brought it up in the state law. They brought window tint up. They said, window tint on the front and the windshield, the law might change. And then after that, people were getting windshields tinted. The funny part is the law never changed. The law stayed the same. And the changes to the law was for 70% on the front doors and windshield and nothing else. So it wasn't even going to change very much. But ever since that happened, everybody was asking more about windshields. I don't know. I just put it in people's minds. That's the day it all changed. Ever since then, I've had way more windshields to do, and they've been a consistent thing ever since. So that is also why I learned how to reverse roll a windshield. And it didn't go super easy for me. But it's a better way to do it. It's a smoother, cleaner, more like refined way, I think, of tinting a windshield. And it doesn't work as well for the back. Whenever you're kind of butt up against paneling and stuff, that's for me when it gets really, really difficult. So if I learned from the beginning how to reverse roll, I think I'd be much better at it. But also, if you are learning how to do windshields, learn this way. versus just carrying them in. And then you can also do that for the back windows too. And maybe you'll just be better than me at it, which is totally like a realistic possibility. It's nothing crazy. There's a lot of people that'll reverse roll windshields or rear windows. It was much easier too for me to teach somebody to reverse roll a windshield than carry it in. I watched somebody back to back. They like carried a windshield in, back window, and it was super clunky and uncomfortable, and it was just not a super good way to do it. And then we tried reverse rolling, and then it just went incredibly, it went much easier. Easier thing to kind of just grasp. There's like some little steps involved. You know, you just roll up the film. It's easier to understand than just like carrying it in the air. Ugh, I can't get it. 1 second. Oh wait, there we go. It's also impossible to carry in a windshield wider than 5 feet, like on a truck. Yeah, they fall apart for me on that. And like I do it on back windows, so that's where I kind of figured I could still always do it on windshields, and it is faster. Like you have to make yourself slow down to do it this way. If you just carry stuff in. But you'll see. When it comes to the sides, that's where things get a little bit dicey. I can talk about it a little bit easier then. F-150 rear view mirrors, the new ones, yeah. The new ones just have a T20 screw, super easy. Mustangs, without the housings, super easy. A lot of new vehicles, like 21s and 22s, they're starting to put all these cameras and stuff in. They've been doing it on nicer cars for a little while now. But sometimes they'll drop the mirror into a different spot. From some of that on Ford. But yeah, I'd assume this is no more than just a cover, and then you could probably take a screw and undo it and then pull the mirror and not have a super hard time. But I want to see it kind of disassembled before I do it, or at least like take a little more time with it rather than just like start yanking on it. Paneling, messing around with like that's one reason why I don't really mess around with pulling apart panels, especially like on stream. It's one of those things where it's like you feel like sometimes you're breaking a panel, you're popping little things, you're like, oh god. You kind of have to like get your feet wet with it in a way that might actually damage the vehicle. And I've done it for so long this way that it's just I don't have to take that risk. So when you know what you're doing on particular door panels or door types, it comes much easier to you. But if you've never taken that time, it's just weird. So I've mentioned this to tech specifically. If you are like an automotive tech or you're good with taking stuff apart, I honestly think that you'll probably have an easier time learning how to bottom load stuff just because like you've already taken apart a bunch of doors and stuff. So you kind of already know how it all works. Then the tinting part will come easier to you for doors because then you just drop them in. Breaking clips on door panels is a pain, especially if the car's not yours. Yeah, so not a super uncommon thing to see was like breaking a clip. And okay, here's the cold truth. If you're replacing door glass and everything's kind of behind the curtains, there's generally more plastic clips that are there than need to be there. So you can, in theory, break some clips and the car can drive away and nobody would know. Now, break a clip while everybody's watching and then try and explain how that's fine. You know what I mean? It'll all hold together. If it doesn't make a sound, is there a problem? But no, that's not how I could do things here. So some things have to be done this way because we're gonna take a safer approach unless we happen to have lots of spare clips that we knew would replace the broken ones. But I'm certainly not just gonna throw a car back together with some broken clips and kick it out the door and say it's fine. That's not gonna happen here. Oh, this is a sticky situation, I'd say. So I'm not totally sure if this is gonna work, but oh fuck, I'm in a Yeah, if you can get the actual clips, like the real ones, and then you're more okay. Get a clip in. I'll look it up if it's a fair amount of extra clips that are actually gonna work. I just don't want to get ones like for instance, there's this interesting BMW third brake light that has a blue clip on it, and if you want the blue clip from BMW, I think I did it. Then you have to actually, oh, that's the worst. Are you kidding me? Oh no. I could have got it too. Fuck. All right, so we gotta redo this whole windshield. Yay, not. I said it was tight on the bottom. Unfortunately, the towel pinched it with the rope. So trying to protect this windshield was its demise. Damn it. So it looked like I could have barely squeaked it in. I was going across this whole thing, squeaking it in, and then it just folded on itself and creased right at the bottom. Not super fun. Looks like I might have been able to finesse it and go from the other side, but at that point, it was already done. That towel's chunk. Having a rope in there at the bottom is a real hard thing to work with on this one. I wanted to kind of pull it, but this in here, so you kind of have to put the tint under and then pull it back up. So I wanted to kind of tint it and then pull the towel and then, you know what I mean? Like, or get the towel out of the way first, but I think I'm gonna have to do that on the next go around. Yep, so this is the fun part. It is 4:45. We gotta redo a windshield and we gotta re-glassade the whole thing. So that means just call Kent Automotive and they restock your bins with the ones you want. Oh, interesting. All of them. Feels bad. That's part of the business. Sometimes they go well, sometimes unfortunately they don't. So we got to re-prep this. I know a lot of you guys have to deal with this. This is just part of it. So it definitely doesn't always happen, but whew. Me and my buddies tried tinting, and this is why I brought it to you. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, this is one of the frustrating parts about it. So the question then is, what would we do differently? We got to kind of move that rope out of the way. It was going pretty well. It was all rolled into place. It's just, I want a rope there to protect everything, but I think I have to pull it right before I go to tint it. That way everything kind of lays in there. That way it'll kind of just, it'll be okay. All right. Creased so many times. Yeah, it happens. The rep comes in and puts away all the stock too for you for the clips. Oh, that's nice. I wouldn't need him to do that here. It's like a tool guy coming around and trying to sell you stuff. And you keep telling him no. Aw, okay. It just wouldn't happen very often, but that's cool. Yeah, I would just, yeah, that'd be cool to just order a whole barrage of them and just have them on standby. That'd be great. Yeah, because there's so many like unique clips and stuff like that that you really should have on hand if you're going to be doing that. How do you do the windshield if you don't remove the F-150 mirror? So you got to splice it. So literally, like, this is why a lot of people will hope and pray and wish that they can remove them. You literally got to go from the tab straight up with a cut in the film and just wrap around it. There's no other way to do it. Just stack the most common clips. And then watch, I'll have it, and then I'll break the one clip I don't have. All right, let's prep this again. We did this very early on. We prepped it. Unfortunately, it's got to sit for a minute and dry, so that also, sad face, takes up more time. Do you get nervous on cars like this? No. Not so much cars like this, because Mustangs, I've done a bunch of them. I don't do too many windshield. I don't know. I'm trying to remember last time I did a windshield on a Mustang. It's been a minute. But that doesn't mean, like, that doesn't mean a lot. I've done a ton of windshields on a bunch of other stuff, so it's all very similar. It's just tighter bottom there, so got pinched. And we need it to not get pinched this time around. So it's got to dry. We can either let it sit or we can take a heat gun, speed up the process a little bit. So I guess let's do that. Then we'll toss another piece of film over it, shrink it. I guess the silver lining is it's not ceramic today. How was the boat tinting job? It was almost ceramic. I'll make up by sending 2 to 3 people your way. Well, thank you. I'm glad after all this you still trust me with your tinting your car. The boat was a big project. But it wasn't bad. It was just a lot. It's one of those things that you just have to take the time to learn. And they're really, really unique windows to learn. But once you do a couple of them, you'd be faster on the next ones. So I think in all it took over 5 hours to do. It was like 3 pieces of glass. I just don't do boats. Not like that. Those are like gasket window boats. What's the next project? I think it'll be a little bit before it happens, but I want to put a couple of TVs up here. It'd be super fun. So we could have like a TV up there, and then maybe one up there, and they could also what they would do is there's a lot of streaming things, a lot of creative streaming things that are out there that we can play around with. It'd be super fun. So I could put alerts and stuff physically on the TVs up there, and then I'd also have like you could have just like animations and stuff run on them in the background. It would be really cool. I like the white outline even though it's just Glassade. It's the Tron look. Your cable management could use some work. Yeah, most of my shop could be cleaned up too. We'll get there. We'll get there one of these days. It changes. It like so much of it changed. And like it's just you put the stuff there while you're kind of playing around with it, and then you play with it for a while, and then you kind of figure out where it really should go. But it's all like this whole studio, it's just a big blank canvas, and I can mess with it any which way. So we're slowly honing in on, I think, what looks best and what works best with how I do it. Like, I wasn't expecting to set that box up, and then I just had this idea. I was like, hey, what if I put a toolbox and an extra monitor on there, and then that's connected all the way to that one, so they're the exact same monitor. So when somebody asks a question and I miss it, I don't have to run around the car, or if I need to get to the computer quickly, I don't have to walk around the car. Saves time. And then I can start putting tools in it. And it's efficient. So, all that kinds of crazy stuff. Heat gun, again. We really should put maybe a heat gun on this side and a heat gun on that side. Walking around the car is obnoxious with it. Is a half hour a window too long? I'm just starting out. Need to go faster. It's definitely a fair amount of time. You want to work on speeding up, but if you can charge accordingly for it, then there's nothing wrong with it. I like to say shoot for, on everything without, with the windshield, 2.5 to 3 hours. Without the windshield, a couple hours. Those are like goals you can work towards. Don't feel like you have to do that right away, because it's like, just look at what you're making off of that one car and then see how it fits into your business. Some people are completely fine tinting one car a day. They're just set up for it that way. More places are set up for more work because it's hard to get more money just for one job. But always shoot for quality first and then speed up. I'd pay more for a quality job. Yeah, the challenge is convincing everybody to pay for a quality job. Everybody says that they want quality, but they don't understand the work that goes into it, because there's, a fair amount of people that also made it very economical and convenient. So it's like, you come in here, we'll get your car tinted in an hour. And they charge whatever that they think that they can charge, and typically I've got into arguments with shops that I'll be back when I was tinting for some of these places, they would yell at me tooth and nail that they can't get over a couple $100s for a tint job. Nobody will pay that. And then you're trying to explain carbon and ceramic to them, and they'll be like, nobody cares about that. Well, they're selling out of their own pocket and out of their own care. And then you start actually talking about it to people, and then you see their reaction, and yeah, Some people don't care. And some people, especially with a slightly more flexible budget, actually do care. So you get a lot of everybody. But don't assume the customer. Always ask questions. I'm gonna pull the seals on the Highlander since I'm familiar with them. There you go. That's great. I watched I watched some random channels that did tint videos, not tinting specific channels, but channels that were like, I'm gonna tint my own windows today. But they would make actual tinting tutorials, like, okay guys, I watched some videos, this is how you tint your windows. First step is remove all the door panels. Oh, okay, yeah, that's just a step, right? Yep, just remove all your door panels. Okay. Let's start out with doing something that you've probably never done before. Learn how to remove all your door panels first. Sounds easy. What if I remove the whole side window? I don't know if it's real. I hear every once in a while you get somebody from overseas that is like, you guys don't remove all the windows before you tint the car? And it's like, wait, what? You remove all the windows when you tint the car? I don't think it's real. But maybe it is somewhere. So there's lots of different ways and reasons definitely why you wouldn't want to do that. One is time. Two is when you go to put a piece of glass back in a door, you go in from the top, and it's kind of its own puzzle. So I've had to retint windows that have been at body shops from people pulling out the glass, fixing the door, and then putting the glass back in the car because it basically had to scrape against the framing to get that piece of glass in the car. Like, it's just, I don't know how engineers design those to fit pieces of glass, but they sure don't make them super user-friendly. And then you have other things like some of them are held in there with rivets and just different ways to take, it's just a whole mess to try and take out a piece of glass on every vehicle. And then at the end of the day, it's not, I'd argue it's not going to turn out any better doing it on the outside. You could set up a station for it and you could probably get it pretty nice, but anybody that's asked me to tint a door window outside of a car, it's always looked worse. You leave that sitting at an angle, it collects all types of specklies. It's just bizarre. I don't get it. I've done windshields that way. I've done door glasses that way. And they never look as good. It's not saying they can't look as good. It's just you can make them look amazing just in the car. And it saves time. Time, money, expenses, things. All right, so we've already cleaned this off, so we only have to go once over. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull the rope back a little bit and hopefully free up a little bit of space here. That way we don't pinch that bottom, but we've done a lot to protect everything. So I want to move some of this stuff. And then we're going to pull this back. So we got that. Cool. They can take a little bit. They'll be fine. Chryslers are the worst ones. Don't mess around with Chrysler. Ford, Chevy, generally fine. Oh no! Are you insured? Enough. I ensure this job will turn out well. Somebody want to point me in the direction of my glass squeegee? That would be great. Where the heck did we put that thing? We have two of them. It's probably on the floor somewhere then. I don't know. We'll use this one. Is this the second go? The second go? What? That's crazy. Oh, that sounds great. Oh my God. We just can't see today. Don't burn a hole. Thank you. Second go. What? Like we'd ever make a mistake live. That's crazy. Yes, this might be the second go. All in the pursuit of perfection. Perfection. I'm sure everybody's so entertained too. This one. This is the one. The Libman glass, flat glass squeegee. So far it's the best. I've used... I don't know. Somebody find me a good one. Somebody find me a better one. If you have one, cool. I want to try it. I've looked around. I've seen a fair amount of just locally available flat glass shower type squeegees. That one seems like it's the best. It's just kind of funny because it's in like literally the cleaning section of everywhere. So. Like Meijer and Walmart and whatever. How do you peel the plastic layer? You peel it. No, so you can do it a couple ways. You can do it with like a fingernail, or you can do it with your teeth. The Libman is a quality squeegee. It's just, wouldn't think, it's just available everywhere. It's just funny. It's like, best solution, shower squeegee. Go figure. Just like, I guess, dryer sheets and whatnot. Like that all works. Okay. Here's a good one. Can you peel it with your toenail as well? Sure, why not? That's the quality of posts, of comments that I appreciate here. Can you, but you can do it with your fingernail. If you're really a master of tint, toenail. There we go. If you can get a reverse roll in place as you're rolling it, it goes so much smoother. All this can kind of just fall into place as you're unrolling it. It doesn't have to go up on the headliner at an angle. just all kind of where it's meant to go. I've had so much easier of a time rolling windshields. It's when it starts to get away from you that all that gets real messy real quick. Like that. So we gotta pull it farther, tuck it in, pull a little farther, this whole area, and then this little tab has to slide up in here too. And then once that's all underneath the plastic, just a little bit, then this will kind of slide all to where it needs to go. If you don't, you'll just be fighting with it. It'll butt up against a lot of these little edges, and it's gonna let in some dirt. Be all types of annoying. Whoa! That was fun. All right, make sure all this is tucked. Yes. Towel. Yes. Half hour for one window is pretty good, to be honest. Actually, I should specify. Back window, perfectly fine. Door windows, when you do all four, it's going to take you a couple hours. And then you got the rest of the car to do. So that's where you're going to be wanting to definitely speed up. If it was like half hour for the back window, 15 minutes per door, that's looking way, way better. It's just when you do a back window or a door times that by 4, unless it's a coupe, right? But assuming 4 doors. So now all this is already laying pretty flat down here. No rope in the way. That's the difference there. I like to have a rope there, but I guess if it just doesn't make sense, sometimes you have to pull it just to free up a little bit more space, or you can end up fighting with it. But leaving it there for a good part of the job, and then going in at like the last crucial step. Yeah, I don't like to do things that way, but sometimes that's just the way it goes. I think I'm cleaning too much. Could be. A lot of people clean too much the very beginning. Really, the dirt isn't there from cleaning. It's there from installation technique. So when you like you saw with this one, when I messed up the windshield and then I pulled it off, I didn't scrub the window down again. I didn't razor the whole thing. I didn't clay bar it. I just squeegeed it off, and I cleaned and I installed the tint again because it's already clean. So I do see people, they'll like triple, quadruple squeegee and scrub and all this extra stuff to get a clean window. I could show you how little you have to do to get a pretty clean window. Extra cleaning the window is about the extra 0.5%, 1%. I don't know, little margin of difference. And I used to do it a quicker way. I actually used to clean a window much quicker than I do now. I'm a little bit more thorough because I set aside time to do it that way. But I used to take nothing more than a plastic scraper, scrape the window, squeegee it off, and install the film. Boom, done. Cool. Moving on to the next one. Because that's like, that was the business model. That's what I had to do. It was get cars in, clean them, get them tinted, get them out. And that's good enough for the majority of people, actually. You can get away with doing that just fine. So I don't do it that way here because I like being extra particular in my own business. I don't know. It's just stream it. It's fun. Can take my time finally. Have a breath. The grand reveal. Did it turn out good? Oh, look, I have 2 squeegees there. That's where I put the other one. I have a little bit that needs to be tucked in there. You never clean the seals? I tape over them. I swipe the sides. I clean more now, but I don't have to. That would be a good, that's a good video, but it would have to be on a window. I don't know. Let me think, because I don't really like to just tint a window just to tint it and then immediately redo it, but you know, I might cover everything up and then do how I would normally, or how I used to tint a window versus like how I tint a window now with like extra cleaning. And you're not always going to be able to see a difference between them, I don't think. Just sometimes. It's just, if you want to be a little extra thorough, it's about that little extra. But I can't tell you how many people I've tinted for. They don't, would you believe that after somebody's had a good experience at the shop and they spent a little bit of money with you, would you believe that not everybody sticks their nose against their windows when they take delivery of their car? I mean, a lot of them just do a quick walk around, hop in their car, and they're happy. They're trusting that you did a good job. So it's a little unfortunate when shops abuse that, I think, but that is the cold reality of it. So I don't know. I try and make sure everything goes out as good as I can possibly make it looking, and I have that time to do it, whether I stream it or not. How do you get around an inspection sticker? You got to remove it. You remove an inspection sticker, and then whatever you do with it after that, like stick it back or put something down to maybe make it stick a little bit softer. But you're not tinting over an inspection sticker. There's no way that's gonna work, and not look like utter trash. Yay! Much better the second time around. When you remove it, do you have to go to a place and get a new one? I don't know. We don't have inspection stickers here. Michigan is really nice about not having inspection stickers, so that is something that we don't ever have to deal with. Hey, look, I got a whole bunch of steps. 6,000. Oh, wow. I walked so much today. What time is it? 5:17. Good Lord. Looks like this took till the end of the day. Anyways. That's when he said he was picking it up anyways. Wow, what timing. That's what we planned for, right? Looks so much better. It does. You'll like it with the doors closed here in a minute. I really like the color on this. This is nice. I like the blue. I'm not often a super fan of like colors. I typically go for more of like a black and white theme or, you know, dark gray or something. This blue though, this looks really good. I'm on the way. See you soon. Perfect. Good timing. So we'll deliver this one. I'm going to sign off the stream, then I got to deliver this. And then that'll be the stream for today. Next stream, I'm not sure. I got to check the schedule for tomorrow. I think I'm going to be posting a video tomorrow. What is today? Today's Wednesday? Latch, don't forget to unlatch the doors. Thank you, sir. This is one of the cars that I like to think I remember on, but I appreciate you. I definitely appreciate the reminder if I do it, because there'll be that time. There'll be that time that I don't remember. Cool. All right. So, looking good. Oh yeah, we locked it too. See? That's why I lock it. Pull on the latch a little sometimes. There it goes. Drops down. Woo! Let's get the other side. So, little extra, you don't have to do this, but after your door's been sitting for a while, that seal, it's still wet. It's the area that still stays wet for quite a while. And the water trails along that seal and will just kind of sit there. It takes a long time for that to dry out. So it doesn't ever hurt just to be extra sure about your edges. Press it down before it goes. And then there we go. Because, yeah, these are one of those cars. As soon as it goes, doors are closing and opening all the time. So it's nice to leave windows up for a few days, but on these ones, you don't have that option. Oh, dang. Look at that windshield. This looks good. I wish I could give it a bath. Should give it a bath. But it was nice and clean when it came in here. Now it's got a little of overspray on it, which is fine. It's not hurting anything, but I'm sorry. It's part of the process. All right. So let's head back over to the PC. Canon. Wow. That was a long one. Whenever we mess up a windshield, it's a lot of extra time there. Really? Where's my YouTube window? This whole time I was streaming without a YouTube window? Dang. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Wow. We had a lot of people watch me mess up a windshield. Thank you. Thank you for being here. How you doing? We're going to shout out some super chats here real quick. So to wrap up, we did 35 on the windshield. We did 20% on the front doors. And we did 5 on the back quarters and the back window. And it looks nice. If I had one of these, it's probably what I would do on it. Up to 110 today. That's good to see. The channel's been busier. I've been trying to post more videos and stuff. That's why we even made a video this week or last week and got it posted on Sunday. So I'm going to try and be doing those more regularly. So, but don't hold me to it yet. But with extra time, we're able to do some more content stuff. So big shout outs to Super Chats today. Jose, the real young OG, Jorge, Daniel, Jose. Oh, and an extra one from yesterday. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys had fun. Hope you learned something on that windshield. Even still make plenty of mistakes. It happens, and then you kind of figure out what to do. So next time we do one of those, we'll probably put in a similar towel or a rope or something, pull it right before we go to install it so we don't have that issue. Because the more you fight with at the bottom, the more issues you're going to have like that. But balance between trying to keep it protected and still functional, you know. So thank you guys for tuning in today. Next stream, I don't think is tomorrow. I think I'm going to post a video tomorrow. Yeah, I got to check the schedule. Tomorrow? What's tomorrow? Schedule. Wednesday. Is today Tuesday? Tomorrow's Wednesday? Or is today Wednesday and tomorrow's Thursday? Today is Tuesday and tomorrow's Wednesday. I got something at noon. So, whoa! Hey! Thank you. Glad that one worked. But there it is.
Jeff Underwood super chatted $9.99. One for the road. I learn something new each time I watch a stream. Fire, fire, fire.
Jeff with a 10, thank you. I'm glad to hear it. Fire, fire, fire. That's a great way to wrap it up for today. Thank you so much for the 10. I'm glad you learned something. It's what we aim to do, whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing. It all hopefully turns out well in the end. So I guess I have something tomorrow. So I'll either post a video or go live tomorrow. I'm undecided, but we'll do something. So see you guys then. In the meantime, have a good night. I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.